morning, everybody. We just on our way to Steenhatchee, meet with a fellow mariner, sailor at large, passing through. We've known from several years, and we'll go up and meet with him. So we're en route up to Steenhatchee right now. Then we're checking on the ministry boats while we're there. I've been on the phone with Haiti about all morning, and yesterday was quite the celebration. Our director of our feeding program, Manger C'est La Vie in Haiti, he was Jean-Alex et Joseph, Pastor Jean-Alex et Joseph. He was awarded recognition to the government, has a pastor recognized to the government. That carries quite a bit of authority in Haiti. So that's really a great asset to our ministry there. Great asset. Godly man we've known for many years, and we've sat on his front porch many a time discussing things and praying, discussing scriptures and the things of the Lord, and the ministry there, and ways that we could advance in ministry and such and so on and so forth. Man of God. So, but I just wanted to give a little bit of an update here while I'm on the road en route. And Pastor St. Luc and Pastor Alexi this morning. Pastor St. Luc is our national pastor, and then Pastor Alexi is in charge of all of our feeding program and has a lot of responsibility there as well. He's in the south, and Pastor St. Luc's in the extreme north, and Pastor Alex is in the extreme south. And so that's how they are. But we just passed by the bank this morning, making a small deposit, and I got a balance on our missions account for our feeding program, and it's got very, very extremely low right now, and we need a little bit of help. I want to explain this. Over the many years my family and I have spent in Haiti, there's been times that we have worked in Haiti to help support ourselves. Well, that's a good thing when we can. When a missionary can be indigenous and be self-supporting, that's a beautiful thing. The only problem I'm just going to share with you, back when we were supporting ourselves largely, we were running a dive operation. We were doing dive training. We were also patching holes in cargo ships and things like that. They would come to us to the island and anchor out, and I'd had a couple Haitian divers that I had trained, and we would go underneath that big large ship, because they were cargo ships, and we would patch holes working with the ship's engineer, and that enabled us to have some source of income to help support our ministry there, the feeding programs and all that appertain to the ministry there. Well, now we're in the States and we don't have that luxury, so we are more dependent upon churches and individuals that contribute and sacrificially give toward Islander Evangelistic Ministries International. Usually we just use the acronyms IEM, International. So we're talking one and the same here. But I'm coming to you this morning because what's really kept us afloat for a long time now has been extra offerings that we receive from time to time. It's not consistent monthly support, although we do have some consistent monthly support, but it's not enough to fulfill the obligation. Now, here lately, we had a situation with Pastor St. Luc. Most of you all know the story, and many of you have contributed toward that and have been such an untold blessing and a help. But these were just one-time offerings to help Pastor Luc, and it all went to Pastor Luc, and he always tells me to express thanks and gratitude for those that have sacrificially given to help them. Gangs had come into his local village. They literally left with nothing but the clothes on their back, and they destroyed their homes, everything they had. They lost everything. So they're starting all over again in Cape Haitian in the north. And many of you have so graciously and prayerfully and sacrificially given, and we praise God for that. And anything that comes in for Pastor St. Luc will still go to Pastor St. Luc. But meanwhile, we still have these feeding programs. We have the feeding programs. We feed these children every week. We feed these children, and sometimes it's the only decent meal that they get. And I could give you a sad luck story right now and pull on your heartstrings. We could easily do that and be totally within the realms of all truth, and conveying that and sharing that with you. And maybe that's what we should do. But I'm not going to expound on eating dirt cookies and having nothing but a bowl of white rice, plain old rice, to get them through the day, or maybe 2 or 3 days, God knows, in heaven. But nevertheless, this is a worthy, wonderful program. And we're feeding these children and the elderly and those that are hungry, that have a need. And then we all know Jesus fed the multitude oftentimes before he ministered the word to them, and healed many of them, and such and so on, and all the wonderful things that he did. He fed them oftentimes. And so that's what we do. And so we need right now that little bit of extra. Like I said, every once in a while we got a few out there that just give a little bit of extra from time to time, and that just kind of gets us through. It would be nice to have enough churches involved that we could just be comfortable every month and knowing that the support is there. But unfortunately, the Lord led us to pastor a church in September coming up. If Jesus tarries, we'll make 3 years we've been pastoring a church here in Florida. And it's a little country church. We're not doing it for the money to begin with. If we were doing this for income, we're sure in the wrong vocation. But it's a calling. It's a calling of the Lord, and we're going to do what the Lord would have us to do. And but we don't have a great deal of income from our little local church. They do all that they can. They're a wonderful INT'L blessing, and they do what they can do. But we're dependent on other churches, individuals, and we haven't had the time pastoring this church to go out on deputation and raise money like what we missionaries do. Almost our entire adult life has been in foreign missions. That's why we're a missionary pastor, for that reason. And actually, I guess now we're still ministering in foreign land. We have our feeding programs. We have 15 churches. Lord permitting, it'll probably be number 60. Well, actually, I guess technically we do have 16 churches there, because we were able to rent a house for Pastor St. League, and the 30-some people living with him in OCAP, or Cape-Haitian, and they're having church there in the house on Sunday mornings. Then on Sunday nights, they're visiting other local churches, and Pastor St. League's getting to know the people in that area, and he's preaching and ministering there. And then on Wednesday nights, they're having Bible study, and they're having preaching and meeting in the house again. So that's kind of what's going on in Cape-Haitian. So technically, I guess we really do have 16 churches now. But he is in the process at some point of building another structure, a place where they can minister in that area. At least that's the plan now, tentatively, Lord permitting. Whatever the Lord wants and leads in that direction, that we shall go. But nevertheless, that's kind of a summary of what all is going on right now. And we do thank you that have given toward Pastor St. League, and anybody feels on their heart to continue in that project and helping Pastor St. League, please have at it in your mind the Lord. Otherwise, we've got to keep this feeding program also supported, and we're dependent on people out there, churches, individuals, that will help us to obtain that goal and that great need that we have. And so that's all I got to say for now. I just wanted to put this out to you, to some of you. So if you feel in your heart that you would contribute and give toward Islander Evangelistic Ministries International and help us out with the Manger c'est la vie, that's Food for Life, Food is Life, the feeding program, that we wire money weekly. Every week we wire money into this feeding program. And so that's all I can say about that. And so it's our prayer that, and then please tell somebody else about this feeding program. We need more churches and individuals that would take it to heart and to help support these children and the elderly and those that are just hungry. I want to share this in closing. Our last voyage down there, we were on the boat one late morning, just doing little details around the boat, some little projects, to-do projects that were needful. We were there doing that, and a young man that we knew from when he was just a child, now he was probably 17, 18 years old at the time. He'd be in his early 20s now. He passes by in a dugout canoe. Now this boy had never ever asked for anything. He just simply come up beside the boat, sailboat. We were out on the deck. As I said, we were doing a project, working on it. He said, "Pastor," he just looked at me and said, "I haven't eaten in 3 days." That's all I had to say. I could have probably fixed him something there, but I knew if he had a little, I know he wouldn't go off and buy a bottle of liquor or do something he hadn't ought to done. I know him well enough to know that. So what do? I go down into the vessel. I gather up a little bit of money. I go back out on the deck and I bless him with it, put it in his hand, and said, "You go buy something to eat. You go eat something." And that's how so often time it is. Yeah, he would have worked as a young man, stout and strong. But there's no industry there. There is no work. He would have been glad to scrape the bottom of the boat. He would have been glad to have done anything, but this boy hadn't eaten 3 days. Go eat something. There you go. In this ministry in Haiti, and the feeding programs, and all that we do there, the gospel is always involved. When they come together, they have prayer, they sing. One of our preachers will share the word of God with them. Oftentimes, children, young people, whoever happened to be there with ears to hear, oftentimes their names are written in the Lamb Book of Life because they become a saved, born again, saved individual. So that's all I got to say about it. God bless you. And this is a little update here. And until next time, as we'd say in Haitian French Creole, La paix bon Dieu vous. May the peace of God be with you. Jusqu'à la prochaine fois. Until the next time. God bless you.